Hi, and welcome. My name is Joel, and we're playing Necrobarista. Let's see. So we have opened everything that we can read right now. Science book. Yeah, I don't have this Australia thing. Oh, I can go down. We already read it. Oh, you're here. Still don't have this Australia. Okay, so we need to continue. Yeah, continue. Of course. Okay, there he is. Day 2, 12 p.m. Terminal. Ah. Rise and shine. Come on. You shouldn't waste your last hours on Earth sleeping. Man, I was hoping that I was having a really long, weird dream. Yeah, sorry, no such luck. I'm still having trouble getting my head around it. I totally understand. Want a coffee? Yeah, just something simple. Hipster coffee coming right up. What's going on downstairs? I didn't even know you had a downstairs. There's more to this place than meets the eye. Maddie's down there, desperately trying to fix our debt situation. It sounds like she's hosting a cage match or something. Well, not exactly, but she's mentioned wanting to do that too. There's some wrestler called the Red Comet that she wouldn't stop talking about for a while. Huh? And then because of that, Ashley got obsessed with wrestling for a bit and kept trying to suplex me. Did she manage to? She's tiny. A couple of times? Ha! It was very humiliating. I can't imagine. But to properly answer your question, Meg is running a gambling ring. Downstairs? All by herself? It's fairly unconventional one. And by unconventional you mean? Mortals generally aren't involved. The stakes are higher than usual. Oh. Coffee's ready. Come over and get it. They gamble for time, among other things. You don't sound like you're a huge fan of the idea. I'm not. It's undignified. I mean, as long as Maddie's not in danger, should it be fine? The council doesn't like it. They turn a blind eye because we don't cause trouble otherwise. But I'd rather not have to worry about bad things coming our way. Because Maddie refuses to approach the problem from a different angle. And by the problem you mean the debt, yeah? I was pretty drunk, but I think I remember Maddie storming off after Nat turned up. Yes, I'm a bit worried about her. Wish I could help. You all seem pretty nice. The thoughts, the thoughts appreciated. Maddie will figure it out eventually, though, I'm sure. She just needs time. Hey, thanks for the coffee, by the way. I just realized you haven't actually made me pay for a bunch of them. Nah, how do you expect to pay for them? Oh, right. Yep, no cash. If I were feeling particularly capricious, I'd ask you to pay in time. But you're a nice kid and you need every minute you've got. You wanna head downstairs? I can see your eyes darting to the stairs. I'm not going down, but I'm also not gonna stop you. Yeah, if that's okay. Go on then, I'll stick around up here. Catch you in a bit. Okay, what is she doing there? The stairs that led down to the basement were solid and well worn, with smooth ruts on each step and a handrail that had been polished to a silky sheen through years of use. Kishan had always liked stairwells. People never lingered in them for long, and he found them to be a good place to catch a breather. He wasn't obsessed with them, that'd be weird, but he definitely appreciated a nice set of stairs. On further reflection, it was probably a little weird. Downstairs, the audience clamored for blood. From you to me, with the understanding that your remaining moments on this plane are limited, you surrender this time freely, without coercion, as agreed. Contract fulfilled, you're free to go. Phew. That's 3 in a row, you bloodthirsty bastards. The crowd cheered. Maddie was clearly an expert at winding them up into a frenzy. Who's next? The room fell dead silent. Come on, isn't anyone here brave enough to challenge me? I thought you came here to play with knives, you pansies. Seriously, anyone? Don't hold out on me. Do I need to pick someone out from the crowd then? This is what we've come to? Maddie's gaze swept the audience. Kishan, good to see you. Upright. Interested in a game of skill? Me? Yes, you. Oh, sure. Give me some enthusiasm, my man. Sure. What's the game? 5-finger fillet. Some of the people is here just call it the knife game. You heard of it? Oh, finally something I'm good at. Episode 3. Rise and Shine. Ooh, you've got a lot of knives in this place. Tell me about it. Damn, this thing has a good weight to it. Of course, I wouldn't make you compete with an inferior tool. Huh. What? Sorry, I was waiting for you to see you into calling me an inferior tool. Gee, that was low-hanging fruit, wasn't it? Next time, mate. Sure. Kishan did another experimental slash, and this time it made an audible whoosh. The spectators oohed and awed. But this wasn't for them. He knew that he only had one shot to get accustomed to the blade. You done showing off? Nothing wrong with putting on a little show. Sounds like you're stalling for time. Getting cold feet, perhaps? Shh, not a chance. Let's get started then. You know what you're vaguing? Chai mentioned something about you gambling with time. It's not gambling if it's a game of skill. But that's beside the point. We're both waggering for hours. If you win, it comes from the cafe's balance. If I win, it comes from yours. You've got around 16 hours left, in case you weren't keeping track. Crap, only that many? Want a little extra time to play with then? Oh yes, let's stop wasting it and get this over with. You sure you know what you're getting into? Most people are pretty shy about playing with the time they have left, especially when their tanks running as empty as yours. Yep, come on. Unless you're getting cold feet. Hardly. You've got 30 seconds. Smack the timer when you're ready. Okay. Whoa. The crowd cheered and Kishan fed off their enthusiasm. Oh, perfect. In response, Maddie leaned back and tapped her finger on the table feigning impatience. He met her eyes, grinned, and continued his performance. His stabbing motion got faster as he bent, the point narrowly missing each of his fingers. Stabs strong enough to drive the knife a millimeter into the table were good if he wanted to put on a show. And of course, giving the spectators a show was part of the fun. Might be going fast enough to put on a show, but you're not going fast enough to win. How did I do? 16 sets, if I counted correctly. Whoa! I couldn't do 16. That's how many Maddie beat me with. Is she gonna lose? Nah, she's gonna kick his ass. Feeling good about that result? Definitely I am. Rightio then. Watch closely. Oh, I will. 16. Okay. 1 3 7 11 15 Told ya, she's unbeatable. Is it magic? She could cheat if she wanted to. Definitely not, she's just that good. Poor guy, he didn't know what he was getting into. Sorry, mate. You beat me fair and square. I'm pretty impressed. I aim to please. I'll be taking those hours now if you don't mind. Yeah, sure, how does it work? Ooh, just like this. You won't feel a thing. Ishan felt a brief tightness in his chest, and for just a moment, the tip of Maddie's finger burned white hot. Oh, crap! Someone in the crowd laughed. Sorry, I lied. It's done now, though. Alright, does anyone else dare to compete with me? Come on, looking for some actual decent opposition here. I'll take any challenge, even if it's chess or something. Any challenge? I challenge you. To get everyone a drink. Rounds on me. I didn't realize you were watching. There wasn't anything happening upstairs and I got bored. Right, so you took some hours from kitchen, huh? Yes, I did. Did you feel good about that? Jay. Do you? I won them fair and square. He didn't know what he was getting into. There's an obvious power imbalance here that you're exploiting. He knew the rules. That doesn't change anything. You led him to believe that he'd get some extra time. And, bearing a miracle on his part, that absolutely wasn't going to happen. It doesn't matter. He's just passing through. A couple hours won't make any difference. Maddie, I'm disappointed in you. Our patrons respect us. We need to earn that respect by treating them with respect ourselves. This is not respectful or dignified. Cheating vulnerable passers through out of their time, we're above that. We're better than that. I don't care whether you think it's dishonest or not. I want you to give that poor man his time back. Don't put, this is serious. I feel like a broken record saying this, but while I understand your intentions are good, you can't keep doing these things. It's all for you. If you really want to do this for me, find another way. This isn't worth it, Maddie. It breaks my heart to see you like this, and I know that you're trying your hardest. But this really, truly is not worth sacrificing your own self-respect over. Everyone here respects you, but you gambling with hours just cheapens that. I'll give that hours back. Shame, I was pretty great with the knife. Still, not as good as me. Yeah, I was pretty close. She worked for nothing. If she's alive. Wait, what? Rise and shine. Okay. Lowlace. Yes? What from did you have before being reborn? I think I was a crab. Come on, I'm being serious. Ashley wouldn't harvest spirit liquid from a crab. You're assuming an awful lot about how squeamish she is. As far as I can remember, I lived above streets next to the sky. So a bird then? Wings and feathers and such? No, not that. I do remember flying though. Oh, were you a sugar glider? Describe. Did you eat insects and tree sap and flower nectar? That is familiar. Wonder how Ashley found you then. Could have been anything really. You mentioned bright lights earlier. Oof. Yeah, I'm thinking you got hit by a car. That seems likely. Is that bad? I mean, you're here now, so... whether you like it or not... Shut up. I'm still adjusting. Humorous trio of robots. Okay. Ooh, suplex. Let's see. What can give us an Australia? Luck? No. Contract. White hot. Extra time. Gambling. Power imbalance. White hot. Luck. And sleeping. Confirm. Suplex. Ashley. Cool. Maddie. White hot. Magic. Power imbalance. Che. Ooh, it's the first one of Che. I think gambling. The terminal. Sleeping. Allure. Luck. Magic. Okay, still too far from Australia, and we need a lot of them. Oh, bet. To unlock it, we have everything. Unlock. Read it. Path 1. Let's go, little girl. The man standing in front of Beth smirked. The knife he held seemed almost slight compared to his massive hands, but that didn't make it any less intimidating. Finish this one quick, came a call from behind the knife holder. Three men stood behind him, wearing expressions which ranged from amused to bored. Beth felt her palm getting sweaty and loosened her grip on the knife in her right hand, sliding her thumb along the guard to reassure herself that its shape hadn't changed since the moment she picked it up. Take your friend's advice, Beth said to the man who was menacing her. Finish this quick. After all, I'm just a little girl. Well, as little as any 15-year-old girl could be. Can do, said the man, and he drew his knife up for an overhead swing. The man's movement suggested that he didn't know how to use a knife. Not really. He was swinging the knife like he'd swing a fist. Like he was trying to bludgeon her with it. Like he'd never really used a knife before. He was stupid. Mercifully stupid. He tried to reassure herself of that fact, trying not to lose her resolve. He lunged toward her as he brought the knife down, and Beth raised her left arm. She felt the edge of the knife hit her skin, but the impact of the blow caused the man to lose his grip on the knife. An opening. Beth grabbed the attacker's knife arm and pulled him toward her while thrusting her own knife toward him at chest level. She drove the knife into the man's chest with all the force she could muster, and he fell to the ground and gasped as Beth released her grip on him. The man lay on the ground and put a hand to his chest, moaning, "Son of a bitch." "You doing okay down there?" said Beth. The man sat up and patted his chest. "I didn't expect to lose to a girl." "No," said the man. "Well, that too, but I didn't expect it to hurt this much. These rubber practice knives are no joke," said Beth. "If I'd stabbed any harder, I might have broken a rib." The man stood up. "You got a name, girl?" "You can call me Beth," she said, extending a hand. He shook it with a look of hesitation. "I'm Kyle." "I've got to say, Beth, that was kind of a cheap trick." "How do you mean?" said Beth. "I mean the way you blocked my knife with your arm. It just bounced right off. I couldn't do that if we were using a real knife." "You couldn't do that." "He's right," said one of the spectators. "Not really a fair fight with rubber knives." "I'd like a rematch," said Kyle. "Yeah," said one of the spectators. "Rematch." The other began chanting along with him. "Rematch, rematch, rematch." A voice thundered from above. "I thought I told you guys to keep it down." Everyone spun around to face the stairs leading up to the ground floor. Maddie was leaning over the railing of the staircase with a stern look on her face. She tapped a poster on the wall. Beth took a moment to glance at the sign. Fight Club rules. First, don't quote Tyler Durden. Okay. Seriously, no Tyler Durden quotes. Always assume your opponent is mortal. Practice weapons only. Be considerate to other guests. Keep noise to a reasonable level. "We don't have many rules here," said Maddie. "Please don't make me kick you out of the basement." Everyone else in the room cast their gaze downward, looking ashamed, with several mumbled apologies. Maddie nodded and climbed back up the stairs. Content that she had made her point. "Seriously though," said Guy, "not really a fair fight without real knives." Beth walked over to the edge of the room and lifted a rug, revealing 2 steak knives. Several whispers erupted from the small crowd. "Where do you get this?" asked Kyle. "I swapped them from upstairs," said Beth. "They're not exactly combat gear, but these blades are fit to cut through flesh, whether it's a cooked steak or a human arm." Ben held one of the steak knives by the blade, presenting its handle to Kyle. "We've already broken one rule tonight. How about breaking another one?" "I won't get hurt," said Kyle. "I mean, I can still feel the pain, but, I'm not afraid of getting stabbed." "Neither am I," said Beth. "But don't say you're ready for this if you're not ready to bleed." She turned the knife over in her hands, pressing her thumb against the tip, just enough to draw a single drop of blood. Kyle grinned. "Do I look like I would be here if I was afraid to die?" And this was the first part of a basement. Ooh. Hello, Ashley's journal. Still don't have Australia. Return. What's there? Oh, actually I can unlock this. Rotten poppy. Read it. Maddie opened an herb jar and sighed as she examined the contents. Rotten. She began pouring them down the sink. "I hate poppy seeds," she muttered to herself. "I won't tolerate that kind of hate speech here," said Cherry. "Too bad the rules aren't yours to make, old man," said Maddie. "You should have thought of that before you handed me the keys." "I could help you get the keys back," said Ashley. "I've got a magnetic grabber that." "The keys are a metaphor," said Maddie. "They're not some kind of magical talisman that grants ownership over an establishment." "But there is a magical talisman that grants ownership over the establishment?" asked Ashley. Yeah, said Maddie. "It's called a deed." And this deed entity entitles me to certain privileges, such as expressing my hatred for poppy seeds. It is not good for the soul, said Jay. Hatred corrupts the soul. Hey, I'm new here, said Kisha, but are you talking literally? Does hatred actually corrupt the soul? No, hatred does not corrupt the soul, said Maddie. Nor will poppy seeds despite being a distant cousin of the bay leaf. It's a good thing, said Jay, because Maddie's soul is full of hate. Trust me, I've seen the ultrasound. Once again, as the new guy, I gotta ask, are you talking literally? No, hatred does not show up on an ultrasound, said Maddie, and assume the thing about bay leaves corrupting the soul is also a metaphor. Oh no, said Maddie. That part was entirely literal. Bay leaves absorb bitterness. You always remove the bay leaf from something before eating it. Bitterness is an figurative bitterness. I was talking literally, in the sense that bay leaves absorb figurative bitterness. But yes, they also absorb literal bitterness. I am so confused right now, said Jay. Just don't absorb a bay leaf into your soul and you'll be fine, said Maddie. It's not the kind of thing that happens accidentally. Are you sure? Said Kishan. Because I think I may have accidentally ingested a bay leaf one time. My friend's grandma made this big pot of chili. The soul is not connected to your digestive tract, said Maddie. It's not your gut. So unless you're inhaling your food, it's not going to be a problem. Again, said Kishan. New guy here, soul, respiration system, that's a thing? Oh yeah, said Maddie. Why do you think people are so into burning herbs and inhaling them? I always assumed that was just how, I don't know exactly how cannabis works, but it's like psychoactive. What? Said Maddie. No, not that herb. Like people who burn incense. Huh? Said Kishan. That's something new. That's why you always have to watch out for when herbs go bad, said Maggie. Someone might accidentally inhale some of them. Yet another reason to have poppy seeds and their short shelf life. Kishan's eyes narrowed. How long does it take for poppy seeds to go bad? This went bad in a matter of months, said Maddie. A matter of months? Said Kishan. How many months are we talking here? Maybe 30, said Maddie. Kishan hit some, counting his fingers. 30 months? In 2.5 years, if I'm not mistaken, Che piped up. You left that jar of poppy seeds for 2.5 years? Maddie nodded. As I said, a number of months. 30 is a number. 30 is an injustice, said Che. How have you not touched poppy seeds in all this time? People don't actually like poppy seeds, said Maddie. People just like the muffins they come in. If you give them the muffin without the poppy seeds, they'll like it even more. Poppy seeds just make everything worse. People love poppy seeds, said Che. Me, for instance. I have a great love for the humble poppy. Really, said Maddie. Then how is it that you've never touched this jar of poppy seeds in the past 30 or so months it's been sitting in the spice shop? Che shrugged. Unlike lots of things. Evidently, during the past 30 months, I found things I enjoyed more than the humble poppy seed. I'm offended by the idea that you would discriminate against such a lowly and unpretentious food item. You like the idea of poppy seeds, said Maddie. You like the idea of an herb that comes in discrete units, called seeds, so that you don't have to wonder about how much a sprig is. It's something that you can picture as opposed to cumin that you wouldn't recognize even if I set it on your tongue. Or rosemary, which you probably forgot was a spice and which you couldn't tell from thyme. When you see me disposing of poppy seeds, it pains you because it's something you can conceptualize. If I told you that I hate cumin and had to flush a bunch of it down the sink, would you be bothered by that? Probably not. So really, it's not I who am discriminating against the poppy seed, it is you who is discriminating against non-poppy seed spices. There is no reason for us to have poppy seeds anywhere in this cafe. People claim they want them, but you can go years without ever serving a single poppy seed, and no one will notice its absence. A woman wearing a loose green sweater walked up to the counter. Were you just talking about the poppy seeds? Yes, said Manny. We're all out. Oh, that's too bad, said the woman. I was hoping you might have a... Don't say muffin, thought Maddie to herself. Don't say anything about poppy seed muffins. A poppy seed muffin, said the woman. My grandmother was really fond of them. Jay grinned as Maddie tried to avoid drinking. The woman in the green sweater said, they used to be part of the standard muffin trifecta, chocolate, blueberry, poppy seed. I always wondered why cafes stopped serving poppy seed muffins. I wonder, said Maddie, loud. It's been so long since I've tasted one, said the woman. Years, I'm guessing, said Maddie. Yeah, it's been years, said the woman. Of course. I know roulettes or rolls. Poppy seed rolls. If that's the name of it in English. Okay, nothing more here. We just wandering spirit. So we need to read this wandering spirit. Unlock. Kitchen footsteps echoed in a way that startled him. Were his footsteps always so loud? Perhaps it was just the contrast with the surrounding environment, which seemed to completely silent, that made his footfall seem too jarringly loud as he walked along the catwalk. He was on a catwalk. Why was he on a catwalk? There seemed to be a gaping space below him filled with some sort of mist that he couldn't see through. It was fog-like, and yet despite the fog that lapped at his feet, the air felt so dry. The air was thick here. As he breathed heavily, Kishan felt an overwhelming sweet, sickly odor like the smell of wet or rotting wood. But all that he could see around him were steel beams and a concrete path in front of him. Was it rust he was smelling? No, he knew the smell of rust. That was different. This smell was somehow organic, like the smell of a forest after a fresh rainfall. Kishan shivered. Far in the distance he could see what looked like a building of some sort, so far away that it made the structure he was inside feel almost tunnel-like, as if its only purpose was to convey him to that distant building. He continued walking forward, but as he walked, the building seemed to be growing more and more distant. He quickened his pace, and as he walked faster, he could feel himself moving through the thick, stifling air, yet as he looked down, he could see the texture of the catwalk in front of him unchanged, as though he were walking in place. Kishan started to turn backward, but saw only a blinding light. His eyes immediately shut, and when he opened them, he was again facing into the tunnel, with the distant building at the center of his field of view. He tried turning around, but every time he tried to turn his head, his eyes involuntarily shut at the sight of the light, and he was forced to close his eyes or look away, always confronted again with the sight of the small hut when he opened his eyes. His heart pounded violently inside of his chest. The tunnel was so quiet that he could hear his own heartbeat, feel his own pulse inside of his head. Something about this place felt deeply, incredibly wrong. Get back. I have to get back. He tried turning again, and this time found himself unable to even begin rotating his body before his eyes snapped shut, placing him again in a world of darkness until he opened them again and was confronted with the sight of the small hut in the distance, now looking more far away than ever. I have to get back. Kishan kept facing the building and took a step backward. As he placed his foot on the ground, he felt a gust of wind knock him forward. He let out a yelp of terror. Instinctively, his hands reached for the opposite edges of the catwalk as he fell, trying to steady himself for fear of falling off. The catwalk was wide enough that his body didn't land close enough to the edge for that to have been a risk, and yet as he looked toward the edge, he felt a growing sense of dread that there was something down there that would capture him if he could allow it to catch even the smallest hold of him. Almost as he thought it, he felt the sensation of something pressing against his legs. He stumbled to his feet. He ran forward. The hut ahead of him seemed to grow no closer as he ran, but he ran all the same, running not to reach a destination but to be away from whatever it was that was behind him. Moments ago, his only thought was an overwhelming desire to turn back, a worry that he was somehow trapped in here. But now, that worry was replaced with an overwhelming sense of dread that propelled him forward. He had been pushed forward by something. Something was behind him. Kishan leaned forward and ran. He was no runner. He often found himself winded when forced to climb more than one flight of stairs, and yet he ran and felt no sense of tiredness holding him back, no need to catch his breath. Maybe it was the thick air here that somehow never allowed him to run out of breath. Maybe it was that the fear of whatever it was behind him was that strong. Kishan felt the air stinging at his eyes as he ran. By now he was running so fast that the thick air felt like a hot wind on his face. Tears began running down his face, but he couldn't find it in him to raise a hand to wipe at his eyes. That would mean slowing his sprint. So he closed his eyes, fully aware that he was running down a catwalk that had no handrail on either side. At this point, he didn't care. He ran and ran. Long after the tears on his face had dried, Kishan realized that he could hear only the sound of his own feet as they struck the catwalk. He couldn't even hear the rush of wind, even as it seemed to buffet his face. There were no sounds of anyone or anything pursuing him. Perhaps there was no pursuer at all. He allowed himself to open his eyes and looked down. He looked over his shoulder. This time there was no blinding light, only a distant glow, like the light at the end of a long tunnel. In a way, it was the light at the end of a long tunnel, and in observing the dim glow of the distant light, Kishan suddenly realized just how far he had run. He turned around and saw the building right in front of him. It had windows that were covered with the same fog that covered the ground around him. Kishan reached for the door handle. He half expected it to be locked and felt a moment of panic as the handle bowed under the pressure of his hand. Was he ready to face whatever was on the other side of that door? Did he even want to enter? Did he have a choice? What was it that awaited him inside of this building? Answers or more baffling questions? Kishan looked down the tunnel and suddenly felt cold. Whatever this place was, he needed to escape it, and the only form of egress that seemed available to him was the door of this building. He leaned on the handle and felt the door swing open. Is this the way that he died and ended up here in this cafe? Okay, the door is opened. We are back. No, Australia. Okay. No chai and Ned. Yeah, Ashley's journal. Then we need an Australia. Thinking about what? Ah, we already read it. Is there something else? Ah. Okay, it's good that they make these sounds. Wait, let's see. We don't have a lot of time, so I don't think that we will continue this right now. The main story. Billiards. Again, Australia. The fisherman too. Ah, I don't have Medi. I don't have anything. I used all of them. Somebody walking? Okay, I have Ashley, I don't have Medi. Some members seem to evade you. May have to come back to this one later. Interesting. Yeah, again. So this is the end, I think, for today. Is this? No? A catwalk. Yeah, I think that's the way that he ended up here. So, I hope you enjoyed. Smash like if you did, leave your comments and subscribe. See you in the next videos. Bye!